Humans are pretty weak compared to mythological characters. However, if we give these humans powers from the unknown, what does it make us now? Well, we can find out within Boonchuy, the calamity hero of Amphibia, or lose Noceda, the witch in training and hero of the Boiling Isles. I just want to say I really love Amphibia. Okay, didn't really ask. Sheesh, always hating Gothic. Jeez. Anyways, he's Gothic and I'm Pichu. It's time to see which of these Disney fantasy protagonists will take the fight. It's time for a blood brawl! Prince Andreas was about to use the Calamity Box to open portals to other worlds. However, before this, his best friend Leaf accidentally triggered a vision of a moon crashing into Amphibia. Majora's Mask style, Leaf tried convincing the king, who simply just brushed her off. This led Leaf to steal the box and betray her friends. She left the box on Earth and settled down in a place called Wartwood. She even changed her name to Lily Planter. However, in the present day, when teenager Anne Boonchuy and her friends Sasha and Marcy steal the music box, it transports them into the world of Amphibia. Anne's start here was pretty rough. She was living outside and got twigs and leaves all in her hair. However, when a frog boy named Sprig found her, they instantly clicked, and Sprig introduced her to his family, which consisted of Pop Pop, the frog family grandpa, and Polly, the youngest child. Pop Pop let her into the family, and this opened the door to a new adventure. Or I guess you could say, opened the box to a new adventure. Never make a joke again. Anne has a small but powerful arsenal, such as her trusty sword or her tennis racket. She's fairly good with her tennis racket, since back at Earth, she was a pretty skilled tennis player, making her pretty good with the racket. And not to mention that with her sword, she's been trained by one of the most fiercest people, a daycare scammer. Yeah. Anne has a few other weapons, such as a bath bomb which exploded this campsite, or her phone, which isn't really a weapon, but I mean it's useful. However, things changed when she found her friend Sasha, who was working with the Toads as their lieutenant. Things were going great, until Anne found out that Sasha was planning on killing Hop Pop since he was seen as a rebellious icon against Toads. Yeah, after a pretty epic fight, Anne pretty much destroyed Sasha, like pretty badly, to the point where Sasha almost killed herself, but she was saved by Grime, which is the leader of the Toads. Anyways, fast forwarding a lot of filler, and I mean a lot of filler, Anne pretty much figured out that in order to get out of Amphibia, she needed to fill up the Calamity Box. And in order to fill up the Calamity Box, she needed to fill up the gems inside of it. Yeah, it'll make sense though. In order to fill up these gems, she had to go to multiple temples. Each temple has their own little theme. The first temple is about humility, which Marcy, aka Anne's friend, pretty much aces. The second temple, which is about courage, Anne pretty much aces that too. And the last temple is about strength, which Sasha suddenly comes in acting all good, which aces that too. We can use her as a way to scale real quick. While in the strength temple, Sasha was able to survive the gravitational pull. Not really pull, but force down. Something that even Anne couldn't do. Sasha is probably the most skilled fighter out of the three too, considering she fought like this big old worm thingamajig. Yet even after all of this, Anne still beat her. After all of that, however, things go down. Well, technically up, but long story short, Anne gives King Andreas the Calamity Box, and he goes bad. He starts saying something about daddy issues or something, but Anne goes off on him. So in return, he just throws Sprig off of the castle. Let me remind you that the castle is now in the air, so Sprig is just gonna. Anne, who's obviously mad, starts to go full Super Saiyan, bro. And using the power of the Calamity Stone, she goes full Calamity mode. Her hair starts glowing blue, and she basically becomes way stronger. She can move faster than the eye can see. She can use telepathy, has immense strength, and many more. Andreas got mollywopped. I'm talking pop, boing. But then Anne just turns back to normal. That basically just messed up any chances they had of winning against Andreas. Luckily, Marcy opened up the box, opening a portal to Earth, where Anne and the planters used to escape. However, Marcy... yeah. Anyways, after some more filler on Earth, shenanigans, going to the museum, blowing stuff up, Anne makes her way back to Amphibia, which was now looking horrible. I'm talking a wasteland. Andreas has taken over all of Amphibia. So Anne leads a rebellious army consisting of newts, toads, and frogs. Fast forward some fighting and more fighting and solving racism and fighting. Andreas is now on Earth, and he pleads that if he could fight Anne Boonchuy and win, he will take over Earth. But if Anne wins, he will go back to Amphibia. This is where Calamity Form really gets to shine. At first, Andreas is winning, but then Anne starts winning, and then Andreas starts winning, and then Spring just comes out of nowhere and gives her this red blank piece of paper. However, in a shocking turn of events, this paper was made by Leaf, aka the planter, ancestor that stole the Calamity Box and put it on Earth. By the way, I just gotta say, she did not do a good job of hiding it. For Andreas reads the note, and then he takes off his armor as soon as Anne starts ramming into him. By the way, I just gotta add, once she rams into him, he looks like a freaking FNAF with her animatronic. Anyways, Andreas was gone. Now they had even bigger problems, because when they returned to Amphibia, the moon started booming into their face. So then, with the full power of all the stones, Anne, Marcy, and Sasha all defeated the moon. Yeah, I feel like there was some stuff we left out, but we're not going back to that. Anne previously learned that if she uses the power of all 3 stones, it's basically an instant win, but in return, it will destroy her life. So as Marcy and Sasha's powers were fading, Anne used the full power of all 3 stones and demolished the moon. I'm talking boom, 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 in one single beam. Not even with 2 hands, this one hit, boom. It was crazy, bro. But then, whoop, whoop, Anne died. Rest in peace. Until she came back to life, like 2 seconds later, I think. Now, though, it was time for Anne to say goodbye to Amphibia. Spring ran up to her, though, and alright, so we just discussed frog people, newt people, and toad people, and a Super Saiyan teenager. So what could possibly be next? Witches. What? Wishes! Alright, while Noceda was being dropped off at summer camp, a mysterious owl took her Azura book. As Luz chased the owl, they ran into a cabin, but Luz was surprised to find herself in the Boiling Isles. While Amphibia was run by, amphibians, the Boiling Isles was run by anything. From witches, to snakes, to puppet murderers, to talking little pig merchants. You get the point, basically. It was basically a dream come true to Luz. However, she was taken in by a witch named Ada, whatever you want to call it. It's Ada Gothic. Ada. Yeah, well, anyways, Ada, whatever you want to call it, she was also known as the Owl Lady, which is what I will be referring her to. Okay. Anyways, along with Ada lived King, the childish Demon Lord, which I really think that Demon Lord is kind of a stretch. But I mean, look how cute he is. Indeed. Anyways, Luz would find herself exploring the Boiling Isles, and even learning some magic. However, Luz's way of magic is far different from your basic bippity-boppity-boo. Luz can draw symbols and create elemental attacks. These spells were called glyphs, and as long as Luz writes them, they can be placed anywhere. Her glyphs consist of ice spells, which can manipulate ice, or take any form that Luz wishes. Or the plant spell, a glyph that can sprout plants of any kind. I personally like the Thorn Vault, which is a large number of vines which attack the opponents. Or the fire spell, a spell that can ignite almost anything, and take form of anything, such as meteors and such. Or maybe her strongest, the light spell. This can either be a small ball that blinds foes, or a huge beam of light that can incinerate foes. She can even go ghost! God, Pichu, I'm pretty sure that's invisibility. It's a joke! It's a joke! Right. Anyways, Luz also has a pretty neat arsenal, such as Owlbird, an owl staff that can grant Luz flight or straight up close up battles, like a melee attack. Luz is pretty tough too. She beat the warden who can break solid prison concrete walls with ease. And with the owl staff, she can pretty much travel the entire Boiling Isles in a very short amount of time. However, unlike Amphibia, the Owl House isn't over yet. But even though Luz has shown pretty Pretty good feats. But will they be enough to defeat the champ and Boonchuy?
I can't draw circles in the air. Not like Ida.
Spell circle is really key because...
There's a pattern in the spell circle.
What? Where?
It looks like this. There.
Alright, the combatants are set. It's time to see which mythical hero will take this win. It's time for a blood brawl! Whoa, talk about a fight! Alright, let's point out the obvious. Luz isn't especially great at hand-to-hand combat, which Anne surpasses in. However, Luz had more than enough to keep Anne a distance away from her. The fire gift could easily injure Anne, but Anne has also shown to be able to survive multiple explosions. And the ice gift could easily get countered with Anne's sword. The plant gift is honestly the easiest way to defeat Anne. Not to mention the light gift could easily just incinerate Anne. However, that's where Calamity Form kicks in. The Calamity Form could easily just use telepathy to move the vines. Not to mention it could easily just move out the way when the blast from the light gift tries to hit Anne. Besides, Calamity Form Anne has shown to survive way more than just a little beam of light. Plus, Luz has no real durability feat that's even close to Calamity Form. Anne has just shown to be way stronger than Luz in any type of way. Such as when Anne kicked this robot into orbit. If she did the same to Luz, then no go. Not to mention, this is honestly not even full Calamity Form. So imagine if at full Calamity Form, her doing the same thing to Luz. But if you really want to overkill, with the full power of the Calamity Gen, Anne was able to explode these robots and help keep the moon from falling on Amphibia. Even if we acknowledge the fact that Anne needed plenty of help, Luz would still have never shown anything close to this feat. Not to mention, Luz isn't really the one that will kill Anne. So more times than not, the winner is Boonchuy.